Welcome back to Ben Salutes. I've been wanting to talk about this cartoon for a long time. It's a cartoon that I didn't like at first because I was going through that phase where I was thinking cartoons were kid stuff. Wait, I'm a cartoon character. Why do I think something I'm a part of is kid stuff? Character hole aside, it didn't take long until I grew up and realized how great this show was. And that show is Danny Phantom. This show is about Danny Fenton, played by David Kaufman, a 14-year-old boy who accidentally receives ghost powers and must use them to send ghosts who are sneaking into his world back into the ghost zone. Danny is aided by his two best friends, Tucker Foley, a tech wizard who's always trying to get lucky with the ladies, and Sam Manson, played by Grey Delisle, a gothic girl who slowly starts to develop a relationship with Danny. Hey, here's an idea. You two should kiss. I love romance between cartoon characters. It calms my hormones down so I'm not womanizing animated women. Hey, have you ever noticed that Sam's shirt changes sizes throughout the show? Dang it! There I go! Easy, Tiger. Can't afford another court case. Anyway, Danny's parents are Jack and Maddie Fenton, played by Rob Paulsen and Kat Susie, respectively, who are ghost hunters, but they're not very good at it. Then there's Jazz Fenton, Danny's sister, who knows of his secret and is always there to lend a helping hand. If you can already tell by what I've described, this is an action show, so that means it has lots of villains for Danny to beat up. There's Skulker, mostly played by Kevin Michael Richardson, a ghost hunter who wants Danny's head on a pallet. Technus, also played by Rob Paulsen, a technology ghost who is always taking over devices. Walker, played by James Arnold Taylor, a prison warden who is trying to maintain the law in the ghost zone and captures criminals by any means necessary. Then there's Ember McLean, played by the one and only Tara Strong, who uses ghostly music to brainwash people into loving her. Next, Danny's arch nemesis, Vlad Plasmius, who is also half human, half ghost. As a human, he's Vlad Masters, Jack and Maddie's former college friend, and as a ghost, he's Plasmius, who's constantly trying to put an end to Danny and win the heart of Maddie. Well, these are all great villains. However, they don't live up to the evilness of the last villain. He's the most bad grass of them all, and he's so scary that he has me running from my TV as an adult. That villain is the Box Ghost, also voiced by Rob Paulsen. That's right, you know this guy scared the crap out of you as a kid. He was always trying to control boxes. He gives me the shivers. Anyway, there's plenty of other villains in this show, but I just wanted to talk about the main ones, and the best one, the Box Ghost. Beware! So, what do I love about this show? What don't I love about it? Well, for one thing, this is a show about teenagers done right. Yeah, shocker of the century. This show didn't portray teens as annoying morons who always cause mayhem and never get punished for it. Nope, this is a high school as you remember it, with teenagers that didn't feel like they were from space. Disney Channel could learn a lot from this show. Sure, there are some jerky jocks and annoying preps, but not every teenager in this show is stereotypical. Heck, even Sam is played out well. It's no wonder she's my favorite character. By the way, when are you going to kiss Danny? Kiss him already! Anyway, when it comes to TV shows, writers seem to be unaware of the difference between goths and emos. It's so simple, writers. Emos are always moping about how much life sucks and they go on about how we're all suffering, while goths are just nonconformists who are tough and reclusive. See? Is that so hard? Next, this show is funny. And I mean really funny. Seeing as how it's an action show, you're always expecting violence and rarely expecting jokes, so when the jokes come, they're really funny. Plus, unlike Butch Hartman's other shows, jokes aren't written in a way where the same joke keeps popping up in the same episode. In this show, they say one joke, then they move on. Simple as that. Finally, considering Nick's programming at the time, this cartoon stood out from the crowd in a good way. It had edge. I can't remember Nick doing an action show before this came out, so it was something different that they tried out, and they did it well. I'll admit, though, the action for this show is much to be desired. I'm not saying it's bad or anything, I just think Butch Hartman's style doesn't work well when it comes to the action scenes. He can only do so much with his flat character styles, but the action keeps me interested because even though I know Danny's going to defeat his foe, I'm not sure on how he's going to defeat his foe, so it's fun playing the guessing game. And, seeing as how this is an action show, it had complex and dark storylines. Many people who attack the action genre for being one-dimensional and cliché seem to ignore the fact that it can have really sophisticated storylines, and this show was no exception. The storylines were sometimes lighthearted, but other times they were pretty dang dark. And I love it for that. I believe that kids need to be exposed to dark material because it prepares them for the horrors of real life. One example of the dark storylines this show had was there was an episode where Danny met his cousin that he didn't know he had, named Danielle, who's also a ghost. I don't want to give anything away, but it gets pretty dark when Danny finds out where Danielle came from. There's another episode I vaguely remember where Danny has to fight his ultimate enemy, himself. Yeah, this show had guts, and it wasn't afraid to use them. Bottom line, I love Danny Phantom. It's one of my favorite Nicktoons. I lost track of watching episodes when it first aired, but I constantly watched the repeats on Nicktoons to see what I missed out on. And even when Butch Hartman was wanting to keep the show going, Nick canceled it after 53 episodes, and fans went wild. There were riots in the streets, car crashes, explosions, robberies, man-breeding chimpanzees with rabbits. It was a mass chaos all over the world. Folks, calm down. Please understand that Nick had to cancel Danny Phantom to make room for other long-running and successful Nick shows, like Mr. Meaty, Tack and the Power of Juju, Just Jordan, El Tigre, The Adventures of Maya Rivera, True Jackson VP, Wayside, Bucket and Skinner's Epic Adventures, The Mighty Bee, Fred the Show, and How to Rock. It's a good thing those shows were popular and lasted a long time. Otherwise, canceling Danny Phantom would have been really stupid on Nick's part. However, I am sad that this show was canceled before Danny and Sam could kiss. Why is life so cruel? Thank you, Aphrodite. Aw, animated romance. So cute. Bottom line, Danny Phantom is a great show that I never get tired of watching, and I hope maybe by some stroke of luck that Butch Hartman will be allowed to make more episodes for this awesome show. I'm Benthelooney, and I'm signing out. I'm gonna go shield myself from the box ghost. Beware!